Hello fellow mutants, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to talk about the series finale or season finale of Kenobi. I've heard there might be a season 2 to the Kenobi show, which is why I said series or a season. I don't know. Essentially we start on Tatooine where Reva, the third sister in disguise, she asks where the Lars homestead is. And Owen gets word. He rushes home with Luke to Beru, and he informs Beru what happened. And we kind of see this little banter back and forth about Obi-Wan isn't here. Whose Walt is that? And I just gotta say, I did enjoy that little banter because it did show that Beru liked Obi-Wan and that she wanted Obi-Wan to be at their homestead protecting Luke. But Owen, on the other hand, he was a Kenobi hater, right? And so I kind of did enjoy that little banter, right? But then we see that essentially keeping it with the third sister, we see her, well, Sands at night at this point, and we see her at the Lauren homestead, and essentially Luke runs out. She chases Luke, and as soon as she's going to kill little Skywalker, she gets reminded of how, like, the whole Order 66 thing, and she ends up not killing him, but instead taking Luke back to the Lars homestead. And essentially, while this whole encounter is going on, Obi-Wan goes to Obi-Wan's also on Tatooine. I guess it's like a different part of Tatooine, where Luke and Vader duke it out, and obviously, the lines they said before they fought were callbacks to Revenge of the Sith, where when Vader's asked what are you gonna do, well, pretty much asked Obi-Wan what are you gonna do. Obi-Wan says, "I will do what I must," and Vader says, "You will try." Like how they said that to each other in Revenge of the Sith. They fight, and then Obi-Wan gets underneath some rubble because Vader was OP as hell and put Obi-Wan underneath some rocks. Then Obi-Wan remembers like his time with Leia. She's his new hope at the moment. He takes the rocks out, and then Obi-Wan pretty much sneaks up behind Vader, attacks him, and then we get him slicing part of the Vader mask, and we see the left side of Anakin's like face, while the right side is still the Vader face. And even though it was like for me and a lot of other people, it was clear that that was kind of like them taking inspiration a bit from the Twilight of the Apprentice when Ahsoka did that. And I know like some fans are like like bashing that part. I personally didn't mind it. I actually dug it a bit because. And here's my reasoning. Here's my reason why I dug that moment a bit. Because it was because of Obi-Wan's reaction. You see, like, right then and there is when Obi-Wan really had the realization of what his old friend, his older Padawan, is someone that he considered brother, what they became, what they turned into. And Obi-Wan says, "I'm so sorry, Anakin." He does not once call Darth Vader in this episode, like, to Vader. The closest thing he does call Anakin to Vader is Darth. Kind of like how he said in A New Hope. But we see Obi-Wan get horrified of what became of Anakin. And Obi-Wan says, "I'm so sorry, Anakin." And then Anakin says, "You're not the one who killed Anakin Skywalker. I did." And I've heard some fans are saying that Vader should have died because part of, I guess, his like skin were exposed. I don't. Admittedly, I don't know how the whole deal is works with Vader's helmet. Like, because I always thought that the suit was alive, like kept him alive. The suit, the respiratory, they need the bottom part to his helmet, but not the top part. Because, well, I immediately the Force Unleashed game kind of made me think that way too, and so I was always the impression that the helmet wasn't exactly needed as long as the other parts of his suit was functional. So, like, if you guys want to like enlighten me about how his suit works, please do so, because I would like to know. Because I'm admittedly ignorant in this scenario, but I would like to learn. I would like to learn. And then we see Obi-Wan says that my friends truly did after their little conversation, which I would have liked more. And that's when Obi-Wan says goodbye, Darth. And then Darth Vader yells out Obi-Wan like 3 times, which I did. One of the parts that I did like the most about Vader versus Obi-Wan was the voice, like the Vader and Anakin voices together, and how the Vader voice sounded more like weird. I did enjoy that. Even though they were saying that this was supposed to be the fight of the century, supposedly, I would have liked more if this was supposed to be the fight of the century. To be honest, regardless if we saw like Vader smashing the ground with the Force, or Obi-Wan pulling a ray and lifting rocks and just really like throwing or pulling whatever, using the Force to lift rocks. I would have liked to have seen more out of this fight. What else did I like about this show? Or this episode, I should say. Or, this is not like, I say what happened, because this is not me, like, this is not the video where I tell you guys what I like and disliked. Obi-Wan, is then, he was going to go to, see Leia, but then he, like, what I was saying earlier about Revo pretty much nearly killing Luke, but he didn't. He senses Luke was in danger. He goes back to Tatooine. He goes to the Lord homestead, asks where's Luke. And after Beru says, "We don't know," Obi-Wan says, "We'll keep searching until he's found." And then Beru says, "Ben!" being Obi-Wan. And we see Reva with Luke, the unconscious Luke Skywalker in her arms. She gives Luke essentially to the Lars, and she regrets what she did. This is supposed to be her redemption arc, which I've heard leaks that she was going to get one. In one leak, I heard that she was going to die. The other leak, which was more of the recent leak, was she was going to live, which I guess opens up the potential of her having her own TV show, like the leaks claim. Personally, I'm in that position where if she gets her own show, I don't really care. And if she doesn't get her own show, I also don't really care, because I could not really connect with her character, to be honest. If you guys could, congratulations to you. I'm happy for you. But I couldn't. Like, I had a hard time connecting to Reva this entire series. And I'm happy that in the Vader Obi-Wan fight that Obi-Wan actually stood his own ground. Besides, like, running away. Kind of like how Jack Sparrow would do sometimes. And that's even an insult to Jack Sparrow. Because even Jack Sparrow, when he runs away, he has a plan. Obi-Wan in the first fight with Vader did not have a plan. He just ran away. So I would not have mind of seeing space Jack Sparrow. Because at least running away, he has a plan. God damn it. But yeah, that's where my mind is. Is with that. Is that I didn't between the two fights, I did enjoy this one better because Obi-Wan stood his ground a bit more. He didn't run away with intention like to be a quote unquote chicken. He stood his ground like a boss, and that's why even though this fight wasn't perfect and didn't even come close to Revenge of the Sith for me, I did enjoy this fight better than the first fight they had in the Kenobi series. Um, but yeah, we like I said, we see Reva regretting her actions. Obi-Wan says, "You brought your friends peace. You honor them by bringing them peace. Now you can be your own person. You and I are both free." Then we cut to essentially Alderaan, which again, that's been like one of the highlights of the show for me is that in the prequels we only got to see Alderaan for 5 seconds. And I do believe that we got to see Alderaan in the Clone Wars a bit, but in terms of movies, taking the Clone Wars out of it, excuse me, I always want to see Alderaan, and that has been one of the criticisms I had towards the prequels. Even though I grew up on the prequels, and I'm a fan of the prequels are my favorite trilogy of the 3 trilogies. Even though I would say that the original trilogy is the best, in my opinion, but the prequels are my favorite. Is the GOAT for me. And in New Hope, we saw Alderaan getting blown up. So I would have loved to have seen Alderaan more than the 5 seconds towards the end of Revenge of the Sith that we saw in the prequels. So this show, us seeing more Alderaan was pretty cool. I actually quite enjoyed it. And again, I gotta compliment the girl who played Leia and the boy who played Luke, because I think they were pretty good as the characters, as their legacy characters. Granted that Luke's hair was a bit darker than Mark Hamill's. The kid who played Luke was a bit his hair was a bit darker than Mark Hamill's, so I'm guessing they're going to try to explain that over time he's one of those people that their hair gets a bit lighter as they get older. I don't know. I don't know. Before we go to Alderaan, I did enjoy Obi-Wan returning to Owen. They have a civil conversation, and Owen actually lets us hear Obi-Wan meet Obi-Wan, and he says hello there. And maybe that was after Alderaan. I think that's after Alderaan. But I gotta admit, that got me nerding out saying, finally, he said hello there. That has been a meme. That's been a thing that's part of the reason why Obi-Wan's so popular, because in the New Hope, Obi-Wan's first words were hello there. And then Revenge of the Sith, when Obi-Wan fought Grievous, he says hello there. And so I wasn't really expecting it to be in this series. I was immediately wanting it, but I wasn't expecting it. So the nerd in me enjoyed that. I sadly have to admit. And then going kind of backtracking a bit, Obi-Wan tells Leia what qualities that she got from Padme and Anakin, which I did enjoy that part. I didn't like enjoy that specific part because that scene, Lola was returned to Leia, and Obi Wan already and Owen named Obi Wan and Bail had a little back and forth in a positive light. So, but I did like that she like Obi Wan took time to tell Leia, okay, these are some of the qualities that you got from your parents, your birth parents. So I did enjoy that a little bit. And then she calls him Obi Wan, which a part of me is kind of like I'm kind of conflicted. I'm honestly kind of conflicted on this because a part of me liked it, a part of me didn't. Part of me didn't like it because I would have like loved to have had Leia not knowing who Obi Wan was, but yet again, she she heard the name Obi Wan spoken to her multiple times, so I can get why she called him Obi Wan. But also, there's that side, but there's just still that side of me that didn't like her calling Obi Wan. I would love to hear her say Ben. Am I the only one who feels that way? Please let me know. But then there's that other side of me that's saying I actually did enjoy it, with especially like with the explanation that they give in the show, which was if people knew, then that would put both me and you in danger, Leia. So we gotta keep our like what we went through, our friendship, a secret. But that's a lot of pressure to give to a 10-year-old. That's a lot of pressure. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. It's which kind of circles back to me. That part side of me that doesn't like it, or like her knowing the name Obi Wan, because that puts a bit too much. That puts pressure on a 10-year-old, and who knows if like she could handle it or not. I'm not saying that she couldn't. Just Obi Wan didn't know. Really, I mean, I guess he had faith in her, but still, I I wouldn't even know if put I've tried to put her through that. Maybe like Bill and Mrs. Organa would have, but I wouldn't put a 10-year-old through that. That's just me. That's just me. But then we go to Tatooine. Obi Wan interacts with Owen, meets Luke, and then we see Obi Wan on his EOP going to I think it's Bigger's canon, or like I think Star Wars theory was saying that the canon that Obi Wan was going to was the same one that Anakin did his pod racing in the Phantom Menace. So this episode alone is full of callbacks, for sure. And then before Obi Wan gets into like I guess it's called Beggar's Canyon, we see Qui-Gon show up, and I mean I have to admit it was pretty nice seeing Liam Neeson coming back to the role in as Qui-Gon in the in live action, because the last time Qui-Gon was Liam Neeson was Qui-Gon was actually in the Clone Wars, and I believe that was in the season 6 of the Clone Wars, when Yoda just discovered there's life after the Force, that you can become transcend your essence into being a Force ghost to guide people in the future. So I think that was the last time Qui-Gon was. Liam Neeson was Qui-Gon. And at that time, the time I'm referring to Yoda, finding out like Qui Gon essentially was living in the Force. Qui Gon did say that his training wasn't complete. That he could never he never completed his training, so his body wasn't so he could never he wasn't at the level where Anakin or Obi-Wan or Yoda were in Return of the Jedi. And the only reason why we saw Qui-Gon in his body in the series was because we saw him on a planet where the Force was extremely strong. But outside Mortis, Qui-Gon was merely just a voice that people heard. So as much as I enjoyed Liam Neeson back as Qui-Gon, I don't know how Qui-Gon could have came back full body. Someone will have to explain that to me, because I don't know. But nevertheless, it was good to see have Qui-Gon get acknowledged. Would have awesome to see physically see Qui-Gon. I think it would have been better, made sense more to the canon, that we heard his voice. Just he's saying, "Proud of you, Obi-Wan," and that's how the conversation that took place in the Kenobi show could have started. Still hit similar beats, but that's how the conversation could have started. It was Qui-Gon saying, "Proud of you, Obi-Wan." So that's just me. But what do you guys think about And then the episode ends there. So do I hate? Did I dislike this episode? Not entirely. Do I like this episode? Not entirely. It was decent. It was amongst the best of the series. It's not really saying that much because episodes 2 through 4 were in. Episode 5 was really great in my opinion. For Obi-Wan standards, episode 1 was pretty good. This episode I will give a 5 out of 10. Maybe a 5.5 to be nice, but it's definitely a 5 out of 10. And the series as a whole was alright. It didn't wow me as much as I would have liked. But I also give the series maybe a 5 out of 10. But the lowest I'll go is 4. But it, like I said, it didn't wow me as much as I feel like it should have. Anyways, what do you guys think about the Kenobi show? Do you guys like it, dislike it, or anything about it? Let me know in the comment section down below. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Be kind to one another. And may the Force be with us all.